All right, and we are here on our second night of office hour live stream. My name is Professor Nick Carbonaro. You can find me at nickcarbonaro.com, at Twitter at njcarbonaro, and like it says up on the screen right now, we are doing our live stream every Monday nights from 5:30 to 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. Digitally in my office. I'll be in my office from 5 to 7 p.m. on Mondays every night, but we live stream every 5:30 to 6. So this is for anybody in my class that need a little help. I'm here for you. So let's get started. So again, my name is Nick Carbonaro. If you need anything, if you need any questions or anything, email me, ncarbonaro@lbcc.edu. But what we will be doing right now is just going over a little recap of the week, a little recap of what we did our very first week of school, and if you have any questions to, again, chat them in, just type them in as you have questions. So let's get started. So for our personal finance class, our web personal finance class, if you are in that class, this week we went over chapter 1, all about an introduction to finance, and I just wanted to go over a couple things. Number one, your grades are posted, so I have posted your grades already. I did that for about the past hour and a half, grading all those assignments, making sure that everything was up to date and turned in on time. So there were a couple assignments this week. So for GBiz 10 online class, you had your introductions, which I got to know a lot of you. Some of you are returning students of mine. Some of you are brand new. So it was good to read them, to get to know a little bit about everybody. So that was your introduction. It was worth 4 points. And then you had your discussion boards. And remember, we use 2 websites for our GBiz 10 online. We have our LMS site, and then we have our My Finance Lab. So for the LMS site, you guys did your discussion boards on chapter 1. I believe the question was, what is personal finance and why are you here? To get the full points, you did your discussion post, and then you did your response to another student. So if you only did 1 out of those 2, you got 3 out of the 6 possible points. If you did both of them, you got 6 out of 6, plus your introduction discussion, which was 4, which was 10 out of 10. So the majority of the class did that. Some of you didn't do the introduction, but you did the other 2. Some of you did the introduction in 1 original post, but didn't respond. So just make sure we're doing all those things. The second part of the assignment was our My Finance Lab. So if you haven't registered for My Finance Lab, get registered. Remember, you have that 14-day free trial until your book arrives. So please order your book and then do the 14-day free trial so that you're able to access the course book and the access code as well, so that you can do your assignments. So our assignment, what we did was on chapter 1, you had a homework question. It was worth 20 points, and then you had your quiz, which was worth another 10. So there were 30 possible points on the My Finance Lab. So make sure we're doing that as well. Again, I had students only do the discussion board, and then I had students only do the LMS. The majority of us did both of them, but remember, to get the full points every week, you need to do both of them. If you forget the discussion boards, you will be losing out on a big chunk of the class points. So you have to do the discussion boards to really pass this class as well. So make sure you're not just doing the homework assignments and the quizzes, but you're doing the discussion boards as well. Do both of them simultaneously. But yeah, that's what we were doing with that. And then so what I wanted to do for the next 5 to 10 minutes is go over each class, what we're kind of doing this upcoming week, to make sure that we're all ahead of the game, that we're all ready to go before the week starts, so that we're all prepared. So I'm going to open this up to our course outline. So this will be our course outline, and we'll start with GBiz 5. So our GBiz 5 class, as you can see, we did this week. So this week right here is completely done. We already did this week. And we are right ahead on schedule. So we are ahead on schedule. We're going to be doing chapters 1 and 2. We'll finish up chapter 1 tomorrow, start chapter 2, finish chapter 2 on Thursday, and start chapter 3. And you see here, we have our TED Talk due. Very first TED Talk is due on Thursday. So let me pull that up for you to show you exactly where that's at. If you go to I'll just actually go to TED Ed for us. So we'll go to TED Ed, and let me drop this right here. We'll go to ed.ted.com. I'm already looked in. We already have some responses, which is great. But the lesson you're going to be doing for GBiz 5 is this one right here. So right now I only have 11 students. I only have 11 students registered for it. So remember, this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to watch the video, then you're going to do some thinking questions, answer the multiple choice, dig deeper, which requires you to read an article, and then discuss it. So then we have our discussion. So we have one response. So remember, this is part of your case studies. This is part of your assignment grade as well. So make sure we're doing that. So that's going to be this week. Chapter 2 is on social responsibility and business etiquette, business ethics. Chapter 1, we're finishing up the foundations of business. So tomorrow we're going to be going over different types of economies and competition, and different types of competition. Great. I'm glad, Elias, that if you take my introduction to business, I create all those TED Talks. So 2 out of the 3 are original TED Talks. The other one I borrowed TED Ed video, but created my own questions around it. So all authentic, you can't really get it anywhere else. So those are mine as well. But those are available to my students in my GBiz 5 class. So that's what we're going to be doing. And then remember, on February 20th, like we see here, is the drop deadline, because next Monday we don't have class. So for those that take class on Monday, this doesn't affect our class, but it does affect if you're taking other classes. We do have a President's Day weekend, which is this Monday, and I believe this Friday. Let me see my calendar real quick. February 17th. Yeah, so this Friday I won't be having office hours. This Friday from 10 to 12. Friday is a holiday as well, so I'm not going to be campus. It's President's Day weekend, so we take Friday and Monday off. So no class on Friday. No classes on Friday. If you have classes on Friday, no classes, but no office hours, and no office hours on Monday. So I will be doing this one 2 weeks from today. So I won't be doing a live stream office hours next week. But yeah, just want to throw that out there, because on Monday, February 20th is the drop deadline. So if you're wanting to drop the class, you have to do it by February 20th. So that's what we are going to be doing. So for GBiz 5, if you come late or if you have any questions, feel free to email me after if you watch this video and you have any questions about that. But GBiz 5 TED Talk due. That's what's big, is the TED Talk. So we're doing that for GBiz 5, and then let me get to GBiz 10, the in-class people for GBiz 10. Don't want to save that. GBiz 10 in class. So this refers to both of my classes for GBiz 10. We're on the same schedule, LAC and PCC. We did our intros. We got everybody in there, and then our chapter 1. We did chapter 1. So you could see we're kind of a little behind in this one. I did finish chapter 1 on Thursday, but I will finish it in week 2 right here tomorrow. On Valentine's Day, I'll finish it. And it wouldn't take that long. It'll take like the first 15 minutes of class, and then we'll start into chapter 2, because chapter 2 is where the really meat and potatoes of the class are. This is where we're going to get into budgeting. So for GBiz 10 online as well, we'll be doing our budgeting in this chapter, and really finding out our personal income statements and learning about what an asset is, what a liability is. So all that's there. And so for our in-class stuff, we will be using the top hats. We will be using those to take attendance tomorrow. So for all my classes, we will be using top hat to take attendance tomorrow. The GBiz online, you don't really need to worry about top hat. It's for my in-class lecture. So don't worry about the top hat. You guys don't use it for GBiz 10 online. But GBiz 10 in class, we use top. So tomorrow, remember, attendance will be taken with GBiz 10, just like I showed you on Thursday. So make sure that's there. And again, we'll be going over chapter 2. Chapter 2 covers budgets, forecasting, all that type of stuff, understanding what an asset is, what a liability is, so that you're able to make better financial decisions. So That's that. As you can see with our GBiz 10, our first assignment's not due till week 4, but start getting prepared. Start looking at it, getting prepared for everything. And that's for GBiz 10. As far as how the rest of the live stream is going to go, I went over the class stuff already. So if there's anybody that has any questions regarding what we're doing this next upcoming week, anything like that, please chat it. But as far as what we're going to be doing, with just a couple, housekeeping issues with it. Number one are the drops. So if you didn't show up to class on the very first day, I'm dropping you from the course. I haven't done so yet, but it is counted as a drop. I added permission numbers as well, so people added into the class and stuff. So I know the very first couple days in class have been a little jam-packed. I was adding extra people because I knew there were people that dropped that I've automatically dropped from class. So that's that. If you're in my GBiz 10 web class, I haven't dropped anybody yet, but I'm going to be looking through the thing, and I'm going to be looking through our stuff because I had people that didn't answer the introduction, but then they did their homework, so I'm guessing they're still in the class, and they just don't know about the discussion boards, or they forgot about the discussion boards. However, the people that didn't do any of it after the first week, I'm dropping you. So, and that's just so that you don't get behind, and if you need to take the class in the summer session, I offer it in the summer as well, if the course is too fast-paced. But yeah, during the fall semester, you get the live stream, you get the in-class office hours and stuff like that. During summer, there are no office hours, and I probably won't be live streaming, just because of the fast-paced nature of the class. It's only 6 weeks, so don't really need to talk 2 or 3 times every week. But yeah, so the drop deadline is coming up a week from today. So make sure that if you're wanting to be in the class by February 20th. If not, drop before February 20th so that you get your full refund and it doesn't show up on your transcripts. GBiz 10 online, if you haven't bought your book yet, please buy your book. This is for all classes, actually, no matter what it is, GBiz 5, GBiz 10. Please buy your book. Please buy your book. So that you're not falling behind. Because the key to success is staying on top of stuff. If you're not staying on top of it, you will fall behind no matter what it is. And you may think, oh, it's only 1 week, but if you don't have books for 5 classes and you miss a week in each one, you're a month behind, right? You're 5 weeks behind. So make sure you're ahead of the game. You stay ahead of the game, it won't be bad. But you start falling behind and needing extensions and everything. I don't do any of those extensions because I sent out emails a week before school started so that everybody could be prepared. Make sure that everybody's prepared, especially in personal finance. The stuff really comes at you fast, and if you fall behind 1 week, you may or not catch up. But it is a little difficult to catch up in that GBiz 10 personal finance class. But if you stay on top of it, if you listen to live streams, if you watch the YouTube videos, if you are doing the My Finance Lab, reading your book, reading your ebook, whatever it is to do, make sure you just stay ahead of the game. Same thing with GBiz 5, with our TED cases. Don't wait till the last minute. It's super easy. It's a 5-minute video. There's like 5 multiple choice questions, 2 short answer questions, and a discussion question. So don't wait until Wednesday night to do that discussion question because it really is graded on clarity, on writing. I put the grading rubric on our LMS page so that you know exactly what's going on. So that's that. Just keep ahead of the game. We're in week 2. So, if you want to look at it, we're 1/16 of the way there. So that is 12.5%, 6.25% of the way done with the class. 6.25% of the way done with the class. So we got a little over 93%. But make sure we're on top of it. Stay on top of it. Just stay on top of it. And then lastly, my social media class. I need to give you guys some love. We don't really talk about it on here. I didn't really give you my YouTube channel to watch the live stream, but I didn't put in the syllabus because I don't really do a lot of stuff with the social media. There is going to be something on social media sometime this week. I will be posting on social media, on YouTube, about the social media class. I will be making a video regarding some stuff. It's going to be completely voluntary, just to get you thinking about the course in general. Because one thing that came to my mind was, I'm doing my foundations of business. Doing my foundations business class, outlining the chapter, looking at what I'm going to be teaching, and there's 4 types of competition we're going to be starting tomorrow. So I don't want to get ahead of the game, but you have your pure competition, you have your oligopoly, you have your monopolistic, and then lastly you have your monopoly, right? And so the monopoly, we kind of talk about Rockefeller, and if you haven't seen, there's a great History Channel documentary called the Men Who Built America. The Men Who Built America, and it's about the titans of industry in the Industrial Revolution right after the Civil War. You had Vanderbilt, you had Carnegie, you had Rockefeller, and Rockefeller had Standard Oil. And if you want to know how big Standard Oil was, just think about when it got broken up because of the monopoly status. Chevron was a part of Standard Oil. Texaco was would have been Standard Oil. BP would have been part of Standard Oil, and ExxonMobil would have been part of Standard Oil. So huge company, right? And it got broken up because the Sherman antitrust laws of 1890 said that Standard Oil was considered a monopoly, not so much because of the profits, but because of the barriers of entry to competition. And that's what really defines a monopoly, if you're not allowed to become a barrier to entry. And so it started getting my mind rolling about social media, because social media is free. We don't pay for Facebook. We don't pay for Twitter. They get their revenue from advertising. We don't pay for Google, which wouldn't really be considered social media. It'd probably be considered digital media because of the search engine optimization because of it. But you're looking at it and you're going, okay, really, is there any other place like Twitter out there on the internet? Is there really any other place like Facebook out there on the internet? And so you look at these companies' financial records, they're 10K. If you go look it up, if you just Google Facebook 10K or Facebook annual report or Twitter annual report, it'll come up and it'll say about their competitors. And Twitter names LinkedIn, they name Facebook, and they name Google as their 3 main competitors. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't look at Google the same way that I look at a Facebook or a Twitter. I don't look at Facebook as the same way that I think about Twitter. Twitter's unique thing is real-time microblogging, 140 characters. Facebook is posting. It's like your virtual self. It's your social graph, as they call. Twitter is really like a news medium. Twitter is really like a utility, almost in a sense, because realistically, on the internet and stuff, where can you get your news in the same fashion that you do Twitter? So it's getting my mind rolling, and I'm going to be making a video later this week, maybe Friday, maybe sometime before that, depends on when I get it to it, really breaking it down and really asking the question, is Twitter a monopoly? Is Facebook a monopoly right now? Because they say they're competitors. And there was a great 2009 Business Insiders, businessinsider.com. They had a magazine, an article saying, no, Twitter's not a monopoly because here are its competitors. And just because they have a greater market share, they still have competition. Well, I Googled all those competitors, and they're all out of business. So the barrier of entry obviously was there because they're all run out of business. They're all defunct. So it just got me thinking. So look forward to that coming up. It's going to be one of my other videos. So if you like not just class-wise stuff, but just like philosophically thinking about social media and history and stuff, because we are in a whole new world. We're in a brave new world regarding social media, because yes, it's free, and yes, with Standard Oil, they said the profits were there, and the cost to get into the industry was pretty high, and there was a barrier to entry. But with social media, the cost to get in and the profits that are received from it aren't by the users. So I really think they should classify Twitter's value based off of its knowledge, based off of the information, the value creation it gets. And so if they have say over who's on Twitter, who's not on Twitter, they get to ban people or they get to boycott people or whatever it is, Yes, they're a private company and they should have the right to do that. But at some point, if there's no other competition out there that could actually do that, are they no longer just a regular free form company, or is it a monopoly? So we'll be talking more about that in social media class. We'll be talking more about that in GBIZ 25. When we get to ethics and etiquette of social media, we may get to when we talk about social responsibility in GBIZ 5 this week, or in chapter 14 when we talk about e-business and stuff like that. But other than that, we're at the 20-minute mark right now. Any questions? I know there's about 3 of you. There was, max hit. We got 5, so this video is going viral. Any questions regarding class? Any questions regarding any of that? Because I may cut it short if there's nobody coming in before then. But with those 3 people, do you guys have any questions regarding class, regarding anything before we move on? All right. Well, if there's no other questions, like I said, I have office hours until 7, so I'll be in my office. Oh, do you have a system for budgeting you can share? So, what do you mean by budgeting? Like percentage breakdowns of where money should go, or like an actual software program that you can use to help you budget? Spreadsheet. Okay. So yeah, I use Excel. And if you're in my online class. So I'll post that as well. I posted for my GBiz 10 in class, in face-to-face one, of a budget spreadsheet that I use with all the formulas built in. Um, weekly budget. Okay. Uh, I well, I mean, it's the same concept, the same spreadsheet that I create. It's on a monthly basis, but you could do it for a weekly if you just break it down into to fours, right? I usually budget on a monthly basis as the minimum, just because a weekly, I mean, you get a monthly and you could break it down by week, and then you could break that down by day if you really wanted to. Um, but yeah, if you do it monthly, I have a spreadsheet that I'll post on our LMS site um, sometime this week, either Tuesday or Thursday. We go over it and I tweak some of the information. But yeah, there's built-in formulas. Another app. I mean, if you have a phone, if you have a smart device, smartphone, another app is like a Mint or it's called Mint, or one of those. If you go on the Google Play Store or Apple Store, there's an app called Mint by Quicken, where you plug in your banking information, you plug in your banking accounts, and you plug in all your information and whatever you have that it asks for, and it actually tracks your finances. It breaks it down into different categories. You have to go in sometime and tweak it and and edit it up, because they may just say leisure, and leisure may include eating out, going to a play, going to a movie, that type of, and you may want to break it down even further. But you could go into Mint, download that on your phone, have it connect with all your banking information, and then you're able to track it that way. Percentage wise, like I was telling my class last Thursday when we started introducing the different topics of personal finance, one of the things that you can do is what I like to do, and me and my wife, the way that we budget. It depends on your goals. Our goal right now is to pay off student debt. We both have our MBA, or we both have our graduate degrees. She even has more. She's a certificated teacher, so she has her certificates on top of her MBA degree that we have to pay off. And then both undergraduate at USC, so you can imagine the student loan debt there. But you know, we we knew what we were getting into. We're not dumb about it. Some people may say, oh, the college should be, well, you get paid for. So, one of the things that we do right off the bat is I set up my credit union to automatically right off the top take 10% from our paycheck and put it right into savings before I could even touch it, before I even see the money. So when it gets deposited in my checking account through direct deposit, it's already taken that 10% off of your paycheck into your savings account. That could help you really budget and really save right away, and do all that type of stuff. And then, so you do that, and then another 10%. What I do it for religious reasons, giving it to my church, but for tax purposes as well, it definitely helps. Your charitable donations really help in the end. So if you took off 10% right away off of there and just kept 80% of your salary, and worked with that 8% to figure out what your food, what your rent, what everything else is, that'll help you actually budget even more. You may think like, oh man, but I'm working with less money. Yeah, when you're working with less money, you really have to figure out where each dollar is going to go. What usually happens is people get all their paycheck, 100% of their paycheck, and let's say they don't decide to give to a 401k or a charity, whatever it is, and they have 100% of their paycheck, and then they have the money, and they're, oh yeah, let's go out to eat, let's go to movies, let's go do this type of thing. But if you're able to right off the top take off 20%, put that somewhere else, keep that 80%, and then work with that 80% on top of working with a budget and applying the information, applying the knowledge you learn in this class, in this GBiz 10 class, you'll actually budget a lot better. So I say my philosophy is take 20% off the top, 10% to savings, 10% to charitable donation. That way you get that tax break at the very end, because if you don't do the charitable donations, taxes come back to bite you in the butt. But take your charitable donations, your 10% off the top to savings, work with that 80%, then budget, then decide where you're going to go with that money. So that's what I would say, just to help you out with that. But any other questions before we get out of here? Because now we're about like 3 minutes left. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, this was great. Like I said, we will be doing this every Mondays, but next Monday we actually have off. It's President's Day weekend, so campus is closed next Monday, so there will be no office hours. There will be no live stream. Sorry to disappoint you, but look out for another video on social media, maybe one regarding introduction to business. Not really sure yet. May make a video on that Monday that we have, just to have something extra. But other than that, it was a great time, great questions. Glad for tuning in. And again, once again, nickcarbonaro.com, NJ Carbonaro. Follow me on Twitter. I post some really good articles, retweet some really good stuff. Mind you, retweets are not necessarily endorsements. I'm not endorsing anything on those retweets, but it's good information, whether it's regarding social media, whether it's regarding personal finance. Just another way to follow me. But other than that, if you have any questions, email me, ncarbonaro@lbcc.edu. And other than that, have a great night.